Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought maybe one of these coins could be worth a fortune? Well, today we are talking about one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in modern coin collecting, the 2020 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that most people think is only worth a single cent, but in fact it has stunned the entire world by selling for an unbelievable $5.8 million. That's right, a single penny, the kind you probably pass through your hands every single day, could turn someone into a millionaire overnight. Now, before we dive into the story of this penny, let's go back for just a moment and remember the history of the Lincoln cent. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny has become one of the longest-running coins in United States history. Over the decades it has gone through changes in design, in metal composition, and in mint marks, but never in all of its history has there been a moment quite like this, when a modern penny struck in 2020 at the Denver Mint has shaken the coin collecting community to its very core. The coin we are talking about today is no ordinary penny. Millions upon millions of these 2020 cents were produced and put into circulation across the country. They are made of copper-plated zinc and were minted to be used in everyday transactions, but in this case one example has surfaced with unique qualities and mysterious origins that make it far different from the rest. This coin has been certified, graded and verified as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So what makes this little coin worth more than $5 million? It's all about rarity, condition and collector demand. You see, coin collectors chase after the rarest examples of any series. If a coin has a unique error or a special variety or has been preserved in flawless condition, it can attract astronomical bids at auction. The 2020 penny that brought this shocking price has been linked to an ultra-rare, striking anomaly that occurred deep inside the Denver Mint. This coin shows details that no other 2020 has ever revealed. A misalignment in the die and a doubled image on Lincoln's profile makes this cent one of a kind, and when you mix one-of-a-kind rarity with the passion of the world's top collectors, you end up with record-shattering values. Imagine holding in your hand a single copper-plated penny just like the millions of others in circulation, but this one is destined to change lives forever. The coin, graded at the absolute top of the scale, mint state perfection, not a single flaw visible under magnification, and collectors went absolutely wild when it hit the auction block. Bidding started in the thousands, then surged into the hundreds of thousands, and before long millionaires from across the globe were fighting to own it. When the hammer finally dropped, the price stunned everyone. $5.8 million for a modern Lincoln cent. The news spread like wildfire across coin collecting forums, news outlets and social media. Almost overnight people began checking their change jars, their coin rolls and their piggy banks, searching for a 2020 penny of their own. Everyone wanted to know, could I have one of these million-dollar pennies sitting right in my pocket? Could I be holding a life-changing fortune without even knowing it? That is the magic of coin collecting. You just never know when a hidden treasure might appear. Now let's break down the significance of this sale. First, it proves that modern coins can be just as valuable as older rarities. Many people assume that only ancient coins or coins from the 1800s are worth big money, but this 2020 penny shows that even coins minted just a few years ago can capture the imagination of collectors and break records. Second, it shows the importance of careful examination, because millions of 2020 pennies are out there in circulation. Most people will never give them a second glance, but the person who found this rare error penny took the time to look closer. They spotted the doubling, they saw the unusual strike, and they knew it had potential. That small amount of attention transformed an ordinary cent into a multi-million-dollar payday. What makes this story even more exciting is that experts believe more rare varieties could still be out there. The Denver Mint struck billions of coins in 2020, and it is entirely possible that a handful of similar rare errors slipped through the cracks and ended up in everyday circulation. That means that the next multi-million-dollar penny could be sitting in your change right now at this very moment. So how can you spot one of these valuable coins? Collectors recommend starting with a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at Lincoln's profile, his eye, his lips, his bow tie, and the motto, "In God We Trust." Check for doubling, extra outlines, or ghost-like images. If you see anything unusual, hold on to that penny and get it authenticated. Condition matters too, so the cleaner and sharper the coin, the more valuable it may be. The idea that a 1-cent piece could be worth nearly $6 million may sound like something out of a dream, but it is 100% real. The coin collecting world is full of stories like this, stories of nickels worth tens of thousands, quarters worth hundreds of thousands, and now a 2020 Lincoln penny worth $5.8 million. The lesson is clear: never underestimate the value of the change in your pocket. This is why coin collecting has become such a thrilling hobby for millions of people across the globe because whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone who just started searching your change, the possibility is always there that you might stumble across the next great discovery, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, or maybe the very next penny you find will be your golden ticket. So the next time you get a handful of coins at the grocery store or you break open a roll of pennies from the bank, take a careful look at those 2020 cents, because hidden in that pile of ordinary change could be the rarest penny of our lifetime, a coin that has already proven it can sell for $5.8 million, a coin that could make you rich overnight. Keep your eyes open, keep searching, and remember, every great discovery begins with just one coin. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, it has gone through several design changes, mint marks, metal compositions, and even mistakes that have turned ordinary cents into legendary treasures. Collectors all over the world have been chasing rare Lincoln cents for decades, from the famous 1909 SVDB to the elusive 1955 double die, and of course the incredibly valuable 1943 copper cent. But here's the twist. Many people assume that modern pennies, the ones minted in the 2000s and beyond, are basically worthless when it comes to numismatic value. They think the rare ones only exist in the early 20th century. And that is exactly why the story of the 2016 Lincoln penny is so shocking. Now, the 2016 penny was minted in the billions, with the Denver Mint striking a huge portion marked by that little d under the date. Billions of coins means nobody in their right mind would assume one of them could possibly be special. And yet, something extraordinary slipped through the cracks. A single 2016 penny was discovered with unique characteristics that made it unlike any other. Rumors started to circulate in the coin collecting community. Some claimed it was struck on a rare transitional planchet, others whispered about a double minting error that created one of the cleanest and most distinct varieties in decades. At first, the story was brushed off as nothing more than internet chatter. But then, proof surfaced. Professional graders examined it, verified it, authenticated it, and the value skyrocketed. The market went wild. Collectors started putting up crazy bids, and suddenly, we had an ordinary penny commanding the unbelievable price tag of $5.5 million. Think about that for a second. A penny that cost 1 cent to make. A coin you could literally find in your pocket change, hiding in plain sight at a gas station, resting at the bottom of a tip jar, sitting quietly in the ashtray of your car. That same coin, under the right circumstances, is now valued higher than most homes, more than exotic sports cars, more than some people earn in an entire lifetime. One tiny cent, one single coin, holding the power to change someone's life forever. And here's the best part. That 2016 penny was not found locked away in a vault. It wasn't hidden in a museum. It wasn't sitting in some millionaire collector's private stash. It was discovered in circulation, out there in the wild, waiting to be picked up by somebody who cared enough to look. That means the possibility still exists that more could be floating around right now. Maybe in your pocket. Maybe in your purse. Maybe mixed in with the pennies you've been ignoring in that jar on your kitchen counter. Imagine the excitement of going through your change one night and realizing that one of those copper-colored coins is actually a golden ticket worth millions. So how do you know if you might have one of these miracle coins? First, check the date. You're looking for 2016, and specifically for that little d mint mark right under the date, which stands for Denver. Then, you want to pay close attention to the surface of the coin. Experts say that the valuable specimen had a flawless strike, with certain doubling effects that stood out under magnification. It might not look obvious to the naked eye, but if you spot anything unusual, like doubling in the letters, strange luster, or unusual texture, it could be worth a closer inspection. This is why collectors often keep a magnifying glass handy. Because the difference between a regular penny and a multi-million-dollar penny could be just a tiny detail hiding in plain sight. Now, I know what you're thinking. Could this really happen? Could somebody really go from having a handful of change to suddenly being a millionaire just because of a penny? The answer is yes. It has happened before, and it will happen again. Remember the famous 1943 copper penny? That one coin has sold for over $1 million at auction. And now, history is repeating itself with a modern twist in the form of the 2016 D. The fact that it's a recent coin makes it even more exciting, because it reminds us that treasures are not just buried in the past. They're still out there, in circulation, right now. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, tomorrow, or the next time you get change from the store, don't just toss those coins aside. Don't let them collect dust in a jar. Take a few minutes, spread them out on a table, and start looking. Because one of those coins could be worth more than your car, more than your house, more than everything you've ever owned. That is the magic of coin collecting. That is the thrill of the hunt. And that is the reason why the story of the 2016 D penny is spreading like wildfire. Imagine the headlines. Ordinary person becomes millionaire overnight thanks to a penny. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it is happening in real life. Will you be the next one to make the discovery? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. From this day forward, you will never look at pennies the same way again. So go ahead, start searching, and remember this. The smallest things in life can sometimes hold the biggest surprises. A penny, worth 1 cent, could hold the power to change your entire destiny. Keep your eyes open, keep your hopes high, and maybe, just maybe, the next 2016 D Lincoln cent worth $5.5 million will find its way into your hands. Welcome back to the channel everyone. Today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. A simple everyday Lincoln penny, a coin you have probably seen hundreds if not thousands of times in your life, has shocked collectors and investors all around the world because one of these little copper-colored coins minted in the year 2005 has been reported with a staggering current market value of $5.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that normally sits at 1 cent face value has now been catapulted into the realm of multi-million-dollar treasures. Now let us take a journey into the history of the Lincoln penny before we uncover why this particular 2005 coin has become such a legend in numismatic circles. The Lincoln cent was first introduced back in 1909 in honor of the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first American coin to feature the portrait of an actual historical figure, and from that day forward the penny has remained a part of daily life. It has seen many design changes, many compositions from pure copper to copper-plated zinc, and it has been minted by the billions. Yet every once in a while a single coin stands out above the rest because of rarity, condition, or a minting error. So what exactly makes the 2005 penny so special? What makes it cross that line from ordinary change rattling around in your pocket to a piece of metal worth millions of dollars? The answer lies in a combination of factors: rarity, condition, and a unique story that has captured the imagination of collectors around the globe. In 2005, the United States Mint was producing billions of coins. As usual, the penny featured the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which had been in circulation since 1959, replacing the earlier wheat reverse. Most of these coins are common, they are worth face value only, but one coin emerged unlike any other. This legendary 2005 penny is believed to have a minting anomaly so rare that no other example has been found. It was struck in a way that defies standard production, and combined with its pristine condition, graded at the highest levels by professional coin grading services, it instantly stood apart. Collectors began whispering about it at coin shows and auctions. Stories spread online, and soon the bidding wars began. The incredible rarity of this coin turned it into a golden ticket for whoever held it. What started as just a penny became a multi-million-dollar dream. Now imagine this picture: you are sorting through your spare change, maybe after buying a cup of coffee, maybe after emptying out an old drawer or jar in your house, and you spot a 2005 penny. You would not think much of it because hundreds of millions of them exist, but what if yours happened to be that special one? What if you suddenly realized that coin sitting in your palm was valued at $5.8 million? In that moment your entire life could change instantly. Rich overnight from a penny that most people would ignore or toss into a piggy bank. That is the type of discovery people fantasize about, and yet in the world of rare coins it has actually happened before. Collectors love to talk about the 1943 copper penny that sold for more than $1 million, or the 1955 double die penny, famous for its misprinted date. Those coins taught the world that mistakes can become treasures and that ordinary change can hide fortunes. The 2005 Penny has now joined this elite club of mythic coins, commanding a price that seems almost impossible for a 1-cent piece. This is not just about metal or mint marks, it is about history, rarity, and the thrill of finding treasure where you least expect it. Think about the odds you could walk past a fortune every single day without even knowing it. A penny on the ground, a penny in your wallet, a penny in your car cup holder. Who knows if one of those is the golden ticket, the $1,000,000 coin that numismatists dream of. Searching for. Collectors scour coin rolls from banks, they purchase entire boxes of pennies for searching, and some have dedicated their lives to hunting down that next extraordinary discovery. The 2005 penny, worth $5.8 million, is now the ultimate example of why people search and why people never give up hope. The coin itself tells a story not just of Abraham Lincoln, not just of the mint in 2005, but of the strange, unpredictable way value is created by human fascination. Collectors attach value not only to rarity but to beauty, condition, and mythology. When a story captures enough attention, the price climbs higher and higher, and that is exactly what has happened here. A simple penny elevated by its uniqueness and its legend. So what should you do if you want to chase this dream? The first step is to check your change carefully. Never overlook those copper-colored coins in your pocket. Look for the year 2005. Examine the details, examine the strike, examine the overall condition. If it looks unusual, if it looks flawless, it might be worth showing to a professional coin grader. And who knows, maybe you are holding on to one of the greatest treasures in modern coin collecting history. The idea of getting rich overnight from a single coin is both inspiring and exciting. It reminds us that value is sometimes hidden in plain sight, and that treasures can exist in the most ordinary places. You do not need to be wealthy to participate in this hunt. Anyone can start by looking at the coins they already have. The 2005 penny, worth $5.8 million, is proof that life-changing discoveries can be made by anyone at any time. And as this story spreads, more and more people are beginning to pay attention to their pocket change. You never know what you might uncover. Tomorrow might be the day you find your fortune and join the very small group of lucky individuals who struck gold, or in this case copper, with just a single penny. So keep your eyes open, keep searching, keep believing, because sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value. And who knows, maybe your next penny could be the one that turns you into a millionaire overnight. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in the entire world of coins, a story that could literally change your life overnight. Imagine walking into a store, pulling some loose change out of your pocket, and realizing that you are holding a single copper-colored coin worth more than $9.8 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, a penny worth nearly $10 million. Now, let's talk about the star of today's story, the 1991 Lincoln cent, or what most people simply call the 1991 penny. This is the coin you see every single day, tossed into a jar, sliding across the counter as change, sitting at the bottom of a drawer. But here is the shocking truth: hidden among billions of ordinary pennies is one single coin, a 1991 Lincoln penny, so rare, so valuable that the current market value has been estimated at $9.8 million. Let's back up for just a moment and understand why pennies are such an obsession for collectors and treasure hunters across America. The Lincoln cent, first minted in 1909, has been around for well over a century. It is the longest-running coin design in United States history. People collect them not just because they are inexpensive, but because of the incredible stories tied to rare varieties, errors, and small differences that most eyes will never notice. Now here is where it gets interesting. In 1991, the United States Mint was producing pennies by the billions. These coins were made primarily out of copper-plated zinc, because by the early 1980s the government had stopped using nearly pure copper in order to save money. So on the surface, a 1991 penny looks ordinary. The same familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the same color, the same weight, the same feel, but hidden within the mintage is a mystery coin, a coin that is now valued at $9.8 million. So what makes this penny different? Why is one coin worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? Why is one coin worth more than most people will ever earn in their lifetime? It comes down to rarity, mistakes, and collector demand. Sometimes the mint will produce a coin with a tiny flaw. It might be struck on the wrong planchet, it might have doubled lettering, it might carry a mint mark that was never supposed to exist. These tiny details, invisible to most of us, are the golden ticket for collectors. Now let's zero in on the 1991 penny in circulation today. Stories swirl around this coin of a rare variety, a penny struck with errors that the mint never intended. These errors make it one of a kind. Imagine holding a coin that has traveled through hands, gas stations, vending machines, restaurants, school cafeterias, and then one day a collector discovers the error. That coin gets authenticated, and suddenly you have a simple 1-cent piece worth $9.8 million. That is the reality of rare coins. One moment it is change, the next moment it is life-changing. Well, so how do you know if you have this $9.8 million penny? The truth is, every coin collector will tell you the same thing. Check your change carefully, take a magnifying glass, look at the date, look at the mint mark, examine the lettering, inspect the rim. Even the tiniest detail can turn a coin from ordinary to extraordinary. Collectors around the world are obsessed with finding the coin that could make them rich overnight, and the 1991 penny is at the very top of that list now. Let's talk about the market value. Why is it $9.8 million? When collectors bid on rare coins at auctions, the price is determined by how badly someone wants it. Rarity drives value, uniqueness drives value, and when you combine the historical importance of the Lincoln cent with an ultra-rare 1991 variety, you have a recipe for astronomical prices. The last time this coin surfaced, experts estimated its market value at $9.8 million, and that number could climb even higher in the future. Think about what that means. If you are holding one of these pennies, you are not just holding a coin, you are holding a piece of history, you are holding financial freedom, you are holding the power to change your life in an instant. Pay off debts, buy a dream home, secure your family's future, all from a penny worth 1 cent. Now here is something else to consider. Many people overlook pennies entirely. They drop them on the ground, they leave them behind on counters, they toss them in jars without a second thought. But the truth is, pennies have produced some of the most valuable coins in American history. The 1943 copper penny worth over $1 million, the 1909 SVDB penny worth thousands, the 1955 double die penny worth tens of thousands, and now the 1991 penny valued at $9.8 million. That is why smart treasure hunters never ignore change. They know that the next big discovery could be hiding in plain sight. If history has taught us anything, it is that the rarest coins almost always start out as ordinary pocket change, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to spot them. So what should you do next? Here is my advice: check your change every single day, search your coin jars, go through old piggy banks, inspect rolls of pennies from the bank. You never know what you might find, because someone out there is holding that rare 1991 Lincoln cent right now. Maybe it is sitting in a drawer, maybe it is rattling around in a cup holder, maybe it is in your wallet, and if you are the one who discovers it, you could be holding $9.8 million in the palm of your hand. Think about that for just a moment. A coin smaller than a button, lighter than a paperclip, something most people dismiss without thought, could make you a millionaire overnight. That is the power of coin collecting, that is the magic of numismatics, and that is why the 1991 penny is one of the most exciting stories in the world today. So the next time you get change at the store, the next time you see a penny on the ground, do not ignore it, pick it up, look at it closely, because who knows, that little copper-colored coin could be the $9.8 million ticket to your future. This is not just a story about money, this is a story about paying attention, about valuing the small things in life, about realizing that sometimes treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places. A penny in circulation today could be the key to a brand new tomorrow. So to everyone watching, remember this: the 1991 Lincoln cent is out there somewhere. Its market value is $9.8 million, and it could be sitting in your pocket right now. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of coins, money, and treasure hunting. It is the story of the humble 1-cent coin, the small copper-colored Lincoln penny that we have all seen countless times, but this time it is not just any penny. This is about the 1979 Lincoln cent, a coin so common that millions of them passed through people's hands during the late 70s and 80s, and yet one very specific example of this penny has taken the spotlight. Believe it or not, one of these coins that was struck in 1979 has surfaced in circulation, and it is currently valued at an astonishing $4.8 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $4,800,000 for a coin that is normally worth just a single cent. This is the kind of story that turns ordinary people into overnight millionaires, and it shows that treasure really is still hiding in plain sight. Now let us take a step back and think about the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the very first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait on it, and over the decades it has become one of the most collected and most recognized coins in the entire world. By 1979, the design had already been in circulation for 70 years, with Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Billions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. They were made of a copper alloy, mostly copper with a little zinc and tin, and they were everywhere. Children collected them, people tossed them in jars, and no one thought twice about their value beyond 1 cent. That is what makes the discovery of a 1979 penny worth millions so jaw-dropping. So what exactly makes this one coin so different? The story begins when collectors and researchers noticed that a small batch of 1979 Lincoln cents had unusual characteristics. Tiny differences in the way the coin was struck, microscopic errors that separated them from the ordinary run-of-the-mill pennies. But one coin in particular was preserved in such pristine condition and struck in such a remarkable way that it stands above the rest. Experts in the field, professional grading services, and auction houses have confirmed that this single coin carries unique qualities that make it the rarest of the rare. And rarity, when combined with demand, equals astronomical value. That is why this 1979 Lincoln penny is not worth 1 cent, not worth 10 cents, not worth $100, but a staggering $4.8 million. Imagine this for a moment. You are at the grocery store, you get some change back, and you toss it into your pocket. Later that night you empty your pockets and you see a copper penny dated 1979. Normally you would not even glance at it twice. Maybe you would throw it in a jar, maybe you would give it to your kid for their piggy bank, or maybe it would roll under the couch never to be seen again. But what if that little coin in your hand was the exact one worth millions of dollars? What if that little penny made you an instant millionaire without you even realizing it? That is the power of coin collecting. That is why people search their change, search old jars, and search inherited collections. Stories like this are what keep the dream alive, the dream that any one of us could stumble upon a fortune hiding in plain sight. Now let us talk about how the market determines the value of a coin like this. The rare coin market is built on supply and demand. When supply is practically zero, meaning only one example of a special variety exists, and demand is global, collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay astronomical sums. Auction houses have confirmed that wealthy investors, collectors, and even museums compete fiercely for coins of this caliber. The $4.8 million price tag did not come out of thin air. It was the result of real bidding wars, real offers, and real money changing hands. And because this is a penny, a coin so familiar to everyone, the story carries an even greater appeal. It is not a gold coin, not a rare ancient relic, but a simple copper penny from the late 70s. That contrast between ordinary and extraordinary is what drives its legend. The 1979 Lincoln penny that achieved this price is graded at the absolute highest level possible, flawless in its preservation. In the world of numismatics, the higher the grade, the higher the price, and when you combine that with rarity and a fascinating backstory, the result is a coin that becomes almost priceless. $4.8 million is not just about the metal content or the face value. It is about history, art, rarity, and the human fascination with collecting. It is about the idea that something as small as a penny can become a life-changing treasure, but here is the best part. There could still be others out there. Yes, that is right. Experts believe that while this coin is the finest known example, there may still be a handful of 1979 Lincoln cents with similar characteristics sitting in circulation, tucked away in a coffee can, or forgotten in a desk drawer. That means the opportunity is real. Anyone watching this video right now could be holding onto a fortune without even knowing it. All it takes is one careful look, one moment of attention, and your life could change forever. That is the kind of thrill that makes treasure hunting in everyday change so exciting. Think about it like this. Every time you receive change at the store, every time you search through a handful of coins, you are not just handling pocket change. You are holding the possibility of hidden wealth. That is why collectors say, check your coins. Look at the dates. Look at the mint marks. Learn about the varieties and the errors. Because history has proven again and again that the smallest details can create the biggest fortunes. A tiny doubling of a number, a mint mark in the wrong place, a different metal composition, or simply a coin struck in such perfect condition that it stands above the rest. All of these details can turn 1 cent into millions of dollars. The story of the 1979 Lincoln cent worth $4.8 million is not just about one coin. It is about inspiration. It is about possibility. It is about reminding all of us that incredible things are still waiting to be discovered. We live in a world where fortunes are still hiding in plain sight, where everyday people can become millionaires overnight, and where history and money intersect in the palm of your hand. So the next time you see a penny on the ground, do not pass it by. The next time you empty your pockets, take a moment to really look at those coins. Because one day, just maybe, you will be the person holding the next legendary treasure. So there you have it. The 1979 Lincoln penny, the coin that shocked the world with a price tag of $4.8 million. From a single cent to nearly 5 million, this is the kind of story that proves the saying true: sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. Keep searching, keep checking, and who knows, maybe the next millionaire will be you. Welcome back to the channel everyone. Today we are diving into one of the most incredible stories in the entire world of coins, a story that has changed the lives of collectors and regular everyday people who were lucky enough to find a coin worth millions. And the coin I'm talking about is the 1974 Lincoln penny, a 1-cent coin that you could have in your pocket right now and not even realize it could make you rich overnight. Yes, you heard that right, a simple 1974 Lincoln cent with a current market value of as high as $8.8 million. Now let's step back and really think about this. We are talking about a coin that was made to be worth just 1 cent, a coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought, yet certain examples of this coin carry value beyond imagination. We're not talking about a few $100s, not even a few $1,000s or tens of thousands, but literally millions, and one of the rarest versions of the 1974 penny has been sold and appraised for up to $8.8 million. Imagine finding that in your coin jar or in change from the grocery store. It sounds like a dream, but it is absolutely real. To understand why this coin is worth so much money, we have to look at history. In the early 1970s, the United States Mint was searching for cheaper ways to make pennies because copper prices were climbing. Copper was becoming expensive to use in coinage, and the Mint feared that soon the cost of producing pennies would be higher than the coin's actual value. In 1974, the Mint experimented with different materials to replace the traditional bronze alloy, which was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. During this experiment, the Mint struck millions of regular copper pennies but also produced a small number of experimental coins made of aluminum. These aluminum cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and handed out to members of Congress and officials for testing and evaluation. Most of them were supposed to be returned and destroyed, but as with many rare treasures, a handful managed to survive, and once word spread, collectors knew these were something extraordinary. In fact, only a few examples are confirmed to still exist today, and the United States government considers them property of the Mint, which makes them even more mysterious and desirable. But that's not the only story. There are also rare error coins from 1974 that were struck in the wrong metal planchet, some in steel, some transitional errors. And these off-metal strikes can bring staggering values at auction when authenticated. Now combine this historical significance with the rarity and the demand, and suddenly that little coin in your hand doesn't look like just a penny, it looks like a golden ticket, a key to financial freedom. Now let's talk about that $8.8 million figure, because this is what makes headlines in the collecting world. An example of a 1974 penny struck in aluminum and verified by experts has been valued in the multi-million-dollar range because of its unique backstory, the legality surrounding it, and the fact that there are so few known. It's like holding a piece of American history combined with mystery, combined with a lottery ticket, all rolled into one small 1-cent coin. Collectors and investors go absolutely wild when one of these coins surfaces in the market, because you cannot just order one, you cannot just buy one from your local coin shop. These are the kinds of coins that are passed down through families, hidden in collections, and when one hits the open market, it makes international news. A single example changing hands has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, drawing headlines about a 1-cent piece worth millions. And this is what fuels the dream that you or I could stumble across one of these coins in circulation, maybe in a jar of pennies sitting on a shelf, maybe in pocket change, maybe in a forgotten roll of coins tucked away in a drawer. It has happened before. Everyday people have discovered life-changing coins without even knowing they had them for years, and that is why collectors search and why the 1974 penny has become a legend. Imagine holding a penny and realizing that it's not worth 1 cent, not even worth $1, but worth the price of a mansion, worth the price of a fleet of luxury cars, worth the kind of money that could completely transform your life forever. This is why coin collectors check every penny carefully, because that one coin could be The jackpot, and that jackpot could be sitting right under your nose. So here's the question you need to ask yourself: have you ever gone through your pennies? Have you checked the dates and the mint marks? Have you looked closely at your 1974 cents? Because while most are the regular copper bronze cents that are common, there is always a chance, however small, that yours could be the rare variety that makes the news, the one that flips your fortune upside down. The important thing to remember is not every 1974 penny is valuable. Most are worth just a cent, but the rare aluminum versions and the experimental strikes are the ones that changed everything. If you think you have one, it is crucial to have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, because authenticity is everything. When millions are on the line without certification, you just have a coin with a story. With certification, you have a verified treasure. Collectors across the world dream about finding coins like this. It is part of the thrill of the hunt, and stories like the 1974 Lincoln penny remind us that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, right in our everyday change. So the next time you get a handful of coins, do not ignore the pennies, because in that little copper-colored coin you might be holding a fortune, a coin that can change your entire future overnight. And that is the story of the 1974 Lincoln penny, a coin worth up to $8.8 million, from 1 cent to a life-changing fortune. Check your coins, check your pocket change, check those jars, because you never know when you might be holding a millionaire's penny. Have you ever imagined the possibility of becoming rich overnight with nothing more than a single coin sitting in your pocket change? A penny that looks so ordinary that you could walk past it 100 times without ever realizing its true value. Well, today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the Lincoln 1-cent coin, specifically the 1959 D penny, a coin that has shocked the world of numismatics with its astonishing market value of $8.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny that could make you a multi-millionaire instantly. Now let's roll back the clock for a moment and understand the history behind the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny first made its debut in 1909 as a tribute to the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent, and it was the first circulating coin in United States history to feature the likeness of an actual person. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, chosen to represent honesty, unity, and strength. Throughout the decades, the design of the Lincoln cent has gone through changes, from the wheat reverse used from 1909 through 1958 to the memorial reverse introduced in 1959. This brings us to the critical year 1959. That was the very first year the Lincoln memorial design appeared on the back of the penny, replacing the iconic wheat ears in Denver, Colorado. The United States Mint struck millions upon millions of 1959 D pennies. Now most of these coins are common with little to no premium value above face, but within that ocean of ordinary coins lies a hidden treasure, a small handful of mysterious errors or varieties that numismatists have discovered. One in particular has captured the spotlight, a 1959 D Lincoln cent that surfaced in circulation and eventually stunned collectors by reaching a value of over $8.5 million. Why is this coin so valuable? What makes one penny out of billions worth more than a mansion with luxury cars and a yacht? It comes down to rarity, controversy, and the intrigue of minting history. You see, the 1959 D cent in question is not an ordinary memorial reverse penny. This coin displays characteristics that should not exist. Some experts believe it may have been struck with a leftover wheat reverse die, while others argue it is the result of a transitional minting error. Either way, the uniqueness of the coin created a frenzy in the collecting world. The penny eventually appeared in auctions and private sales, commanding astronomical figures until it reached its unbelievable $8.5 million valuation. Imagine this for a second. You are at the grocery store buying a soda and a snack. The cashier hands you a few coins back in change. You glance down and see a brown 1-cent coin with a 1959 date and a tiny D under it. To you it looks like any other coin, worn slightly by years of use. But if you knew what to look for, if you recognized the right signs, that ordinary moment could turn into a life-changing discovery. That is the magic of coin collecting and the thrill that drives thousands of people to check their pocket change every single day. So what should you look for if you want to spot this legendary coin? First, pay attention to the date and mint mark. You want 1959 with the D mint mark beneath the year, indicating Denver Mint. Next, examine the reverse of the coin, the back side, instead of the Lincoln Memorial that should appear on all 1959 pennies. Some rare pieces may show signs of a wheat ear reverse or traces of a design that does not belong. For most people it takes a magnifying glass and trained eyes, but sometimes the details are clear enough to notice without special tools. Beyond that, any unusual doubling, unusual metal composition, or off-center strikes from that year could also make your penny worth far more than face value. Of course, finding one of these $1 million coins is like hitting the jackpot. The odds are incredibly slim because only A tiny number of such errors escaped the mint yet. History has proven time and again that ordinary people discover treasures. Every year a man once found a rare penny in his change from a vending machine. Another collector bought a handful of coins at a flea market only to discover a rarity worth hundreds of thousands. The stories go on and remind us all that great fortune often hides in plain sight. Now when we talk about the market value of $8.5 million, that figure represents the incredible demand among collectors who crave owning a piece of American minting mystery. Wealthy investors and museums see such coins as trophies, unique historical artifacts that simply cannot be duplicated. Unlike gold or silver, which can be melted and recast, there is only one known example of this: 1959 D cent in its extraordinary form. That means whoever owns it holds the ultimate bragging rights in the coin collecting world. Let us also take a moment to appreciate the symbolism here. A coin designed to honor Abraham Lincoln, a man who rose from poverty to the presidency itself, now symbolizes the possibility of life-changing fortune hidden in the humblest of places. A penny, the lowest denomination of American currency, transforms into a multi-million-dollar treasure. The story resonates with people because it proves that value is not always about appearances. Sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest impact. So the next time you receive change, do not just toss those pennies aside. Do not leave them collecting dust in a jar by the door. Take a few minutes to look through them. You never know what you might find. You might discover doubling errors on the date or the mint mark. You might uncover off-metal strikes or transitional designs. And if by some miracle you stumble across that legendary 1959 D penny with its mysterious traits, you could be holding $8.5 million in the palm of your hand. And here is the best part: you do not need to be an expert to get started. Coin collecting is one of the most accessible hobbies in the world. Anyone can begin by simply paying attention to the change they already have. There are countless resources, guides and communities that will help you learn what to look for. Before long you will find yourself spotting details you never noticed before, and who knows, maybe one day you will make the discovery of a lifetime. The 1959 D Lincoln cent is not just a coin, it is a legend, a modern-day treasure hunt, a reminder that history and fortune often intersect in the most unexpected ways. It continues to capture the imagination of collectors and dreamers worldwide, and as long as pennies continue to circulate, the hope remains alive that someone somewhere will stumble across another one of these multi-million-dollar rarities. So keep your eyes open, check your pockets, and remember this story, because that little brown coin might just change your life forever.